Hi, this is Josh Belk with the Belk on Business podcast. Appreciate you taking a few moments to tune in and listen today. I'm going to shift in a little bit of a different direction. Most of probably the 40 or so podcasts I've talked about so far, for the most part, have been kind of in the realm of focusing more on kind of what you think of typically in business, as far as more of in a corporate or a business environment. Over the next few weeks, and I may take maybe 4 or so at least weeks, and talk about some principles of financial success. And these are principles that I think will apply personally as well as in business, but probably going to focus a little bit more kind of on the personal side. When I think about personal finance, I think primarily, as I think probably most people do, about 4 areas. Many times people think about, okay, what are they earning? What are they spending? Where are they saving? They think about debt. It's something, if you have debt, you think about that just about every day. Of course, taxes. Here we are. We just started the new year, and in my office, we're starting the process of preparing tax documents for clients. So a lot of people are waiting for their W-2s and 1099s and so forth to prepare their tax return. But I think the one area that's probably talked about the least, and I think is probably the most important area, is the area of giving. A week ago, Sunday morning, the pastor of the church I attended had given me a call and had asked for me to speak just for a couple moments in front of our church congregation on maybe just a principle or two on personal finance. Didn't speak long, maybe 3 to 5 minutes. Then last night, my brother-in-law also had the opportunity to speak and did a tremendous job. And his focus was mostly talking about stewardship and how do we handle what we have. And most of what he talked about was also about giving. And I love that thought of giving. And because I think for most of us, it's sometimes the last thing that we think about. But I think if we're going to achieve true financial success, both in business and personally, we need to start with giving. Now, many times in a spiritual environment, when people start to approach the thought of giving, immediately they start to think about financial. Okay, think about what can I give financially. Many times you have people or leaders in churches, and they're just kind of try to build up the coffers of the church. But I think the financial component is only one of 3 areas that we can think about. Yes, finances are important when we talk about dollars, but I think giving goes way beyond that. There is a verse in Scripture I'd like to read it. Proverbs 11:25. It says, "A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed." So a generous person will prosper. A generous person does find wealth, does find riches. But that riches does not mean that it's always financial riches. Many times when people think about the word riches, they think about the word generosity. Immediately they think about their pocketbook. How big of a check can I write? Versus where are some other areas that they can give? And I want to talk about that here just for a moment. There are 3 areas that we think about primarily when we're giving. Of course, we talked about the treasure component. Okay, we talked about a little bit about the financial component. I'll mention that a little bit more as we go through here. But we also have a couple other areas that we can give of. First is that of time, and secondly is also that of our talent. So as we begin this new year, here we are. We're about 2 weeks into the new year as I'm recording this, and as we kind of begin working through this year, I think one area that we all maybe should focus on quite frequently is that of what can I do to give more. And I think it all starts from your purpose. What are some areas in your life that you feel passionate about? You know, for myself, I attend a very large church, and many people in our church are focused on missions in different areas. And as I kind of go through and I kind of identify maybe people that are going out and doing things that maybe I can get involved with and I can help with. Maybe that could be in the area of missions, or maybe that's in the area of trying to be benevolent to those that need help in the community. And kind of as things are brought to our attention, maybe there's some areas that I feel passionate about that I really want to help. Okay, that maybe I want to give financially. But there are also other areas that we can give. We think of time. For myself, I go just about every Saturday evening when I'm able to, when I'm in town, and I love the opportunity to be able to go into a local jail, and I take my son with me, and I go with a dear friend of mine named Andy, and we go and we give the gift of time to go and visit people. I have friends who go to nursing homes. So areas that they feel passionate about, areas that they really want to help, that they give of their time. But all this is really going to kind of boil down to identifying what is your purpose. Many times people talk about, what is your purpose in business? But what is your purpose personally? Why did God put you on this earth? Why are you here? And you really should be able to identify what that is. Why are you here? What area can you go and can you make a difference? And then you build your giving around that. So what is your purpose? You should have giving type goals. Because after all, it's through giving that we truly find fulfillment. I have friends and I see them on Facebook. I have clients and maybe their goal is to buy a car, or their goal is to get a bigger house, or their goal is to reach a certain dollar amount in their retirement. Okay, and these are all kind of things that people get applause and they get a lot of get people fired up and excited for them on social media. But you know what I think really should bring us more excitement, and I have a friend down south, his name is Jeff, and I have a friend out east, her name is Jennifer, and they go to Africa quite frequently, and they try to make an impact on some orphans' lives, on people who don't have a mom, don't have a dad, don't even know where their next meal's coming from, and they go out there and spend time with them and love on those people and just give of themselves. And I think that's absolutely phenomenal. I get much more excited when I see those types of things. But we all need to have goals of our giving. What is your purpose? Why are you here? Okay, the Lord didn't place us on this earth to buy a Tesla. Okay, the Lord put us on this earth to fulfill a purpose that's greater than whatever sort of selfish desires that we might have. Sometimes I've heard people, I can't give. I don't have anything to give. And because they're short-sighted, thinking about there's more month than I have of money. And I said, all of us can give something financially, but we all have something to give because many of us, maybe we don't have as much in the area of finances, maybe we have more time. Maybe we have a skill set that's unique that we can provide. So I want you to kind of evaluate, why are you here? And then what is the purpose that you're here? What skill set, what do you have that in your possession? Maybe it is financially, and we all should give something financially. Maybe you have more time. But have that time, and I would encourage you to have it weekly, to think about what can I do weekly to go and to make an impact. Where can I go and give of my time? What can I do in order to be able to use the skill set that I have? As an accountant, I get asked from time to time to sit as a treasurer on boards, and I have from time to time. But I want to be able to use the skill set that I have in areas that I know that I can make the greatest impact as it aligns to the purpose of why I'm here. Winston Churchill had this line, and many of you have probably heard this before. It says, we make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. And I think that's a phenomenal phrase. And another quote that I jotted down here, if I can find it, is that no one has ever become poor by giving. That's a line that Anne Frank had given it at one point, and I think both of those are phenomenal quotes, and I think something that we need to think about. We need to think about frequently. As we finish up this podcast, I think there are three things that we can think about. The first one I just mentioned a moment ago, and that's for us to have a weekly time that we give of ourselves. Okay, so we go and we volunteer, we do something. It may be going into a nursing home and making an impact. Maybe it's going over and visiting an elderly person in the community, or elderly people in the community, a nursing home. Maybe it's single moms that you get involved with, whatever the case may be. But have a weekly time that you give of your time. Secondly, set goals for financial giving. All of us have something financially we can give. And for those of you who are listening who are Bible believers, and we understand scripturally that we have a command to give. And for all of us, that we need to give of our offerings, okay. And so financially, we do need to give of something. So set goals of financial giving. And then thirdly, what skill do you have that you can use to help make an impact or make an influence in the life of someone else? And to spend some time mentoring. Either maybe it's going and working with a nonprofit, maybe using a skill set that you have, maybe it's going into a community to make a skill set you have, or maybe it's just some one-on-one time with someone who just really needs a hand up and spending some time mentoring them. So many areas that we can make an impact. But I encourage all of us as we get into 2020 that you're spending some time regularly giving of yourself, giving of your time, of your treasure, and of your talent. My name is Josh Belk. This is the Belk on Business podcast. I appreciate you taking a moment to listen today, and I encourage you to subscribe if you'd like. Have a wonderful day.